Hi, this is Colleen with Chats with Colleen, and we're so glad that you're here joining us for our biweekly podcast edition. This episode is with Ashley Herring. It's part two of our series with her, and this time she's talking to us about having children in Macedonia, which I didn't really realize where that was. And I think I mistakenly said it was in the Middle East, but it's not. It's a beautiful country near Greece, I believe. And she said it's beautiful. The mountainous, the views, the villages are beautiful. And she had the pleasure of having two children there. And she's going to share some intimate details with us about that and what it's like with the cultures, the customs, and medical care over there. So I'm really honored that she took time to talk with us about that and share those details, which are very interesting. And in today's day and age, a lot of people want to travel overseas and live overseas. So I thought it was a great topic to ask somebody who's experienced that in their own life. So I hope you all enjoy the show. Please like and share. We appreciate you all so much. And the liking and sharing and the sharing and joining us is for the people that join us and take their time out of their lives to share their stories and their experiences with us. If you want to do so, please contact us and we would love to have you on. We can do it remotely via Zoom anywhere in the world, and we can do it in our office in Lake Mary, Florida. So please like, share, join us, and enjoy the show upcoming, and take care.
Okay, hi, this is Colleen with Chats with Colleen, and today we are here with Ashley Herring for interview number 2. It's going to be a 2-part series today, so thank you for coming here on a Saturday all the way to Lake Mary.
Of course. I love this new space you have.
Thank you. My other one was in my house, although you never saw it, but it wasn't ghetto, but it was still like in my home, so I'm so excited to be out of my house doing it.
You got to start somewhere.
Exactly, you do. So we have a really interesting topic to talk about that I don't think I've ever met anybody that had this experience. So you mentioned in the last interview that you had 2 kids over in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Which part of the Middle East?
Okay, so that's half right. What I mean by that is I worked in the Middle East.
Okay.
And while I worked there, we ended up moving to Macedonia. And that's where I got pregnant and had my first child there. And while abroad, I got pregnant again and had the second one here.
Oh, okay. And so Macedonia, that's in the Middle East?
No, that's in southern Bavaria. So that's, where Greece and
Yes.
Bulgaria, it's right in that space. Whereas the Middle East is where Afghanistan,
Yes.
Pakistan, all of those.
Okay. So I mixed it up, but
It's okay.
I don't know anybody that's worked in the Middle East except for people that were in the war,
Right.
And you weren't in there.
Mm-mm.
So what were you doing there?
So crazy story. It was my husband or boyfriend at the time. We decided, we were dating off and on for a long time, and he decided to go work abroad as a contractor. And then, long story short, I ended up going over there with him. And one of your questions on here, it's like, why did I go over there? And the only thing, the first thing that came to my mind was adrenaline rush. I was like, ooh, it's something I don't know. Let's give it a shot. Before you have kids, you're invincible. I mean, you just wanted to try everything, go everywhere, see everything. And that's my perspective. So my family thought I was crazy, but I was like, no, you're crazy. Of course I'm going to take this opportunity. So that's what led us to be contractors in Afghanistan.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And how was the culture there? Especially towards being an American.
Well, you're on an army base.
Okay.
So even though it's not your typical army base, I mean, everything is rocks. There's one road, and that's not even the runway. The runway's a rock runway. There's people that aren't American walking around. So you're not used to seeing, Afghanis walking around right there with you because they hire them and they work on the base. In the evening time, it's a blackout fob. So if you have to go to the bathroom, you have to walk out of your, where you're living at in your quarters and walk in the dark through the rocks with a flashlight that's not white, has to be a colored flashlight. And you walk to a trailer that's the bathroom. It's so wild. But, you know, it becomes normal to us, you know? It's weird at first, but then we're like, oh, this is the norm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you ever leave the base to go? No. Okay.
No, you could not leave the base. I mean, we were right there in the Pakistan, like on the Pakistan border. We
Not
would,
safe.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
especially this redhead. I would be stolen and, you know, for ransom, you know.
Immediately. You would stand out. You can't.
yeah.
And since you were over there, did you have to wear the garments that they wear? No. Okay.
No, not on the base. Now, you know, kind of jumping forward a little bit, when I did move to Kuwait, you do have to cover up. Otherwise, again, you will stand out. You can't walk around in shorts and a tank top. It's very weird. It'd be like somebody walking around, you know, Publix just nude. You'd be like,
Okay.
It'd be an eye like out of the.
It would stand out.
Totally.
You would be.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. So you lived in Kuwait how long?
Kuwait was about 16 months or so.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. That was after Macedonia. So it was Afghanistan, Macedonia, and then we moved over to Kuwait. And the journey from Afghanistan over to Macedonia was, we were getting like attacked a lot, and so that's where we decided it was time
To leave?
Yeah, it was time to go have a little bit of normalcy.
When you found out you were pregnant, I'm assuming you went to the doctor.
Yeah.
And then the language, do they speak the English?
Yes, they do, but it's broken English. It was that whole experience. I have like 30 stories in just that whole birthing experience. As a matter of fact, I'm writing a book about it, because I went back the other day and I forgot that I had blogs from, you know, me being over there. So, and as I was reading through it and sharing it with the kids, they were like, wow, this is so cool. But yeah, we found out that I was pregnant. I didn't believe it at all. I mean, it was totally a shock. And then, of course, we went to the doctor and we had private health care, because most of their system is public, but private health care is, you know, kind of like a luxury, you know. Everything there is a lot more better treatment in the private health care, but because of the jobs that we had, you know, private health care. And yeah, I remember, funny story. So like I said, I like the unknown and adrenaline rush and surprises. So I'm all about that. I wanted to keep my birth a surprise. I didn't want to know if it was a boy or a girl.
Oh.
So we go into, you know, it was like, I don't know, was it 16 weeks or something like that? And we're sitting in front of the doctor, and it was a male doctor. And we said, we don't want to know the sex of the baby. We don't know, boy, girl, we don't want to know. So you're trying to like make them understand, oh, yeah. Oh, no, fine. No, it's fine. Okay, yes, no problem. Literally 2 minutes later, I lay on the bed. They put all that little jelly on you. And he's like, oh, right there. You see the penis? That's a penis. You have a boy. I'm like, I looked over and I was like, oh, this is not how I expected my gender reveal to go.
Oh,
but
gosh.
it is what it is.
So did you feel that the healthcare was comparable to what it could be in the U.S.?
I think that I don't really have much to compare it to with regards to birthing.
Childbirth.
I just have my one experience that I had over here. But I will say the difference is they are very involved. My stay over there, I had a C-section. My stay over there was 6 days, and I had to beg them to leave. They didn't want me to leave. And they take care of the baby all the time. So they had the baby all the time. They were bringing the baby back to be fed, and then they would take the baby and they would change the baby. They would do everything. And I'd have to like call them and, hey, where's my son? Can we bring him back? Whereas over here,
They just bring them to the room.
they're like, all right, time's up, time to get out. Let's go. You know, kind of like, cattle shoot. Just, we've got another one coming.
I do remember that. I remember when I left, I was like, they're not coming with us. We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I may have liked that. I feel like they helped you a little bit more because you had a surgery. So they were trying to give your body a break probably
Yeah.
to heal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's definitely very different over there. You had mentioned about some of the experiences of, was it the
How was it raising a child there versus in America? But you probably
so
don't know any different.
right. I don't know any different except for what I experienced with Ella, my daughter who was born here. She or he in the hospital there, you kind of have to just wing it. They don't tell you everything. You know, we've got all this research over here. We can ask the doctor questions. You know, moms come in there, they've got this birthing plan, they're all ready to go. And over there, you kind of just get hit with all these different little things. You know, I didn't know that I was going to be in the room without their dad, my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, you know, they were wheeling me off and like, all right, say goodbye. I'm like, to him? What? Why? And it's just, what are you going to say? I mean,
You don't know.
you can't do anything. It is what it is. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of changes or cultural differences.
Do you think you would ever go back there to live if an opportunity came up?
Macedonia is so gorgeous. Have you ever traveled?
No, not
Over there?
overseas. No.
Okay, well, how can I explain? Have you been to a hidden gem in the United States?
No, I don't think I've ever been anywhere that's so beautiful. I need to go.
Really?
I don't travel much. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't.
Well, for those who are listening, it's like a hidden gem, and I didn't really know anything about Macedonia except, you know, we were like, oh, let's try this location. And there's so much culture there, and there's so much family. They're oriented around family. Everybody's outside all the time. Fresh food, fresh vegetables. It's kind of like the Italian culture it reminds
Okay.
me of. People sit around the table at restaurants for hours and hours on end. I mean, it's just family is a huge deal over there. When our landlords, because we were renting over in Macedonia, when they found out that I was pregnant, I remember they were so excited. And we had just met them. You know, we just moved in. We got a bigger place for the baby. And they were so excited. They're bringing us gifts, and it was like fruit and nuts and just all these things. And they brought over this alcohol. And I had just found out I was pregnant. I was like, I don't know, 10 weeks or something like that. And I'm sitting there with their dad, and they bring out this alcohol. We're sitting on the couch, and they were like, oh, you know, I forgot what it was called. It's like some clear liquid. It reminds me of the grease, you know, the liquid that they, is it aperitif or something that they drink after, like anyway.
A celebration.
A celebration drink, yeah. And so they poured it, and I was like, oh my gosh, in America, you're not supposed to drink while you're pregnant, especially this young, you know?
Yeah.
Am I going to kill the baby? And I look over at him, and he's like,
I guess we have to.
I mean, what's one shot going to, so I threw it back, and, you know, because you just got to kind of roll with it, you know, and embrace the culture.
They seem more, yeah, I think it's not like that here now that you mention that. People be like, oh, you're pregnant. Okay.
Yeah. Congrats.
Congrats.
Yeah. Next.
They treat everybody like a community, like a family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice. And then when you moved back to the U.S., how old was your son?
He was a year, I think, 2014, so two years.
So he probably has no recollection.
No, he
unfortunately.
doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't remember anything.
And your daughter knows because she was just a little peanut.
No,
so.
even if I show videos, I don't, they don't really remember. Nobody really remembers that toddler age, you know?
They're too young. And do you think this has changed you in being a parent?
Yeah.
Seeing some of the experiences over there?
Yeah, I think that it's made me a lot more laid back. You know, you have this vision in your head a lot of times of what you expect your birth plan to be, or your baby shower, or, you've got this Pinterest board and this birth plan and all this stuff. And you got to be open to just throwing that out the window. You know, it's, you got to be kind of excited for whatever gets thrown your way. And a lot of that you're going to see after the baby comes too, you know? And I know that in Macedonia, they have a lot of, what is it called when you walk under a ladder? Superstitions. Yeah. They have a lot of superstitions, and I didn't research nothing. So one of the things is if you're not supposed to bring the baby out for like 40 days or 30 days, something like that.
Right.
It's supposed to be like warm. Well, my son was born in June.
It's hot.
It's hot. Yeah. Even in Macedonia, it's hot. So we're taking the baby out for a stroll, and they're like, everybody has an opinion. They're like, you need to bundle that baby up. And I'm like, my baby's going to overheat. So when you go into a shop, they have these AC units in the wall, you know, those long ones,
Yes.
you know? And so what's called a draft, you know, like when you get it, like the little breeze. And so their superstition is if you get a draft on your neck, it'll paralyze you.
Oh.
So anytime that we would go into like these little shops, they would be like, oh, you must cover the baby up because it's going to get paralyzed. And we're like, okay. And it was all the time. So we just had to smile and say, yeah, thank you.
I would be like, oh my God, why?
So with your question of, you know, that you just got to take it with a grain of salt and move on, you know?
That's their culture. They're different.
Yeah.
But then I feel like they're caring in that sense.
Oh, they are. They're great people. Yeah.
Do you think that anybody, well, I'm sure a lot of us do, have misconceptions of what it would be like to have a baby in another country?
Yeah. Well, for me personally, in the Middle East, I thought that it was strict and, you know, with the kids, like, do this, do that, and raise them a certain way. But what I saw, at least in Kuwait, the kids were like the center of everybody. You know, it was like that was everybody's focal point, the toddler, and making sure that they were happy. And many times the kids were out of control. You know, they were the ones running around. And the parents are like, oh, let them be kids. In the States, it's a little bit different. You know, the parents usually, you know, discipline them or won't allow them, you know, just for like out of respect and of the people around them, you know. But restaurants, you know, no seatbelts in cars, in the front seat, driving in the lap. I mean, it was crazy. So that was really my only thing, but nothing in a bad way.
No, that's interesting. And since your son was born there, is he a citizen of that country? No.
No, we thought about that, but
I wondered.
Yeah, we thought about having dual citizenship, but we were like, nah, it's okay. I think we'll just let him be pure American.
I wondered because he was born there what that means, but
because we were like, nobody even knows where Macedonia is.
I've never heard of it until you told me. But then I think I've heard people talk about it as this like great place, like you said, it's like a gem. They're talking about in Macedonia, but I thought it was made up, like in a story.
There's a lot of like poor places, you know, in Macedonia where you drive through the towns and you know the buildings are dilapidated. It's very an old community, and so you do see parts of that, but then you have parts of the countryside that's beautiful, the flowers, the trees, people being outside.
Is it hilly? Like, okay, it was what I'm thinking then.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, before I got pregnant, we used to go every day after work. We would go to, oh my gosh, I forgot the mountain, but we would take a gondola up to the top, or we would hike up to the top. And I want to say it was Skopje Mountain because that's the capital, but I don't think that's what it was. But they had a big cross at the top and like a little store and a bunch of picnic tables. And depending on the time of year, you could get something at the store and hike up and hike down. And it was beautiful. And you could see the entire like other side of Skopje, which is the city we lived in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So lots of mountains over there.
And have you shared a lot of your views and your experiences with your kids?
I do with my son because my daughter is a little bit jealous of his experience.
Oh.
Yeah, so
but he was a little baby.
I know. She whenever I say something about, you know, Macedonia or the experience, she's always like, "Mom, tell me a story." And I'm like, "Well, you were born in Altamont." And there we go. So, I do with him, you know, in private and try to share some other things for her, but it's really, really cool. A lot of the things that we experience with him and the challenges that we, you know, finding a nanny, you know, what that was like in Kuwait, some random stranger, you know, watching your kid all day.
Yeah, because they probably don't have childcare accessible like we have here.
No, it was this lady, she was from Sri Lanka, and I don't remember how we found her. I think it was through a friend, and she was amazing. And she had like 6 or 7 kids, and she was so grateful that we hired her. But, you know, between that and having to travel in and out because of visa reasons, and, you know, there's a lot that we had to experience over there and just kind of figure out. So,
Was there anything scary?
not in Kuwait, no. I think I was still at that stage where you just still feel invincible, like nothing's going to happen. You know, we would ride in, I didn't have a car when I was at first, and so we would ride in like an Uber, essentially. That's, you know, you'd have a guy that you would just text and say, hey, can you pick me up at 10? And you don't know this guy, and it's the same person. So they know your habits, and now I'm a little bit more cautious if I were to go to a foreign country and do that by myself, you know?
Right.
So, and
You were
I
a little
also,
bit fearless. I think you didn't, like
Yeah.
you said.
yeah.
Now things are a little bit different.
But would you say that as a mom that might, like, I don't know how you experienced, would you say that you were a little bit less fearless before you
Yes.
had a kid? Yeah.
I think, yeah, I know for sure.
Yeah.
I think you thought you knew everything.
Yeah.
You thought nothing was going to happen. Like that only happens to those people, not to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that. I agree with that. And then when you become a parent, you're like, oh, it's not just me. I have this person,
Yeah.
another life. So it changes your perspective.
Naturally
hugely.
puts you into that bear mama mode, right?
Protector
Yeah.
mode. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how old they are. I can tell you, you're still like, I'm the mom. I'm supposed to protect you. But
Yeah.
that's the hard part.
Yep.
And you said that you're writing a book about this experience?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, I just started it. I'm into 3 chapters, and luckily I have the blog, and I totally forgot about the blog that I had kept track of my birth and everything, you know, oh, this is week 37 and da-da-da-da-da. And so a lot of that is just going to be that moved into the book because I wrote most of it. And so I'm excited to finish it and then share it with the kids, you know. I'm going to have to write one for Ella or something because she might get a little jealous.
Are you going to really get it published?
I don't know anything about it. So if anybody has any, you know, ideas, pointers,
That's a good-
send them my way.
I'll definitely look into that for you.
I'm just winging it. So I'm going to write it. Hopefully something will happen of, you know, I can get it published. I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
I don't know either, but I know a lot of people do that. And it sounds like you have a great story, especially since you saved a blog. So that's like real-time information.
Yeah. That would be my one thing that I'd tell anybody if they travel anywhere. You had mentioned, you know, looking back, what kind of advice, you know, document everything. Because when you're in the moment of things, like even this podcast, this is a whole new chapter for your life. I mean, I know you've been doing it for a little bit, but just think about when you didn't. And then when you have it for 25 years, you're not going to remember the beginning stages in depth, the details of what it took of when it was in your house to now this, and then to probably something much bigger, you know? So when you hear about the little intricacies of
Other
the
people.
challenges,
That's why I like doing it, because I like to learn stuff. And like everything isn't black and white for everybody, you know, and everybody doesn't have the same experiences.
Right.
So that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But I definitely want to read the book. So I think we need to find a way to get it copyrighted, released. I'm sure Sean can help us.
Well, there we go.
Self-publish on Amazon.
Heck
Yes.
yeah.
There you go.
There we go. There'll probably be like only 3 books on Amazon about Macedonia because
I'm sure.
there's not much out there.
There's not. And I'm sure your story is phenomenal. And I'm sure other people could read it and they could relate because they've probably experienced it, maybe not that country, but someplace else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we're going to end this podcast on that note. Thank you for sharing your experiences in your life with us about Macedonia. Thank you. Chats with Colleen. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for listening and joining us. If you haven't already, please share, subscribe, and like our episodes and our podcast. Also, leave a review. It will be so helpful to us, and we would so appreciate it. Also, if you want to join us at any time, we're open to any guests joining us in person and on Zoom. We post and record episodes bi-weekly, so that's twice a month. Also, they're posted on our socials, which is Facebook, Secured Insurance Group, Instagram, Colleen Insurance Lady. This podcast was hosted by myself, Miss Colleen Pacheco, and recorded and produced and edited by Sean Sposato. Our podcast cover art was designed and created by Norma Pacheco, and our intro and outro music is created by Lounge Bar by Geronic. Goodbye.